I'm a gunsman now. No. Hey guys, how's it going? Aaron here, back again with another video. And I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but here we are. Now I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Curtis Axel, the guy who debuted last night, formerly known as Michael McGillicuddy, has taken the name of his, if I'm not mistaken, his grandfather and his father, Curtis Axel. Now, to give you a little bit of background information on Curtis Axel, formerly known as Michael McGillicuddy, let's look at how he was as Michael McGillicuddy. Now, I am currently on WWE.com to learn just a little bit more about Curtis Axel. If some of you may not know, but I'm just going to run down his, pretty much what he's done over the years. And I was right, it is his grandfather, Larry the Axe Hennig. I wasn't really paying attention during that time. I was kind of dozing off because Raw was kind of putting me to sleep. He is the new Paul Heyman guy. But the superstar once known as Michael McGillicuddy joined NXT Season 2, if you guys don't remember that. I don't believe he actually... Did he win that? I don't know if he won that season or not. I'm pretty sure he did not. I think it was Johnny Curtis. I'm pretty sure it was Johnny Curtis. But he was one of the better competitors on NXT, and he did have Kofi Kingston as a pro. After NXT, he joined the new Nexus under the leadership of well, he was a part of the Nexus when Wade Barrett was still leader of the Nexus, but then he was in the new Nexus when CM Punk took over, and he helped with Husky Harris, helped Wade Barrett to overcome the group's greatest adversary, John Cena. After the Nexus fell apart, McGillicuddy and David Otunga became the tag team champions. Probably wasn't the best pair of tag team champions of all time. Probably the worst that I've ever seen, because I remember David Otunga used to come out with either some sunglasses or whatever he was wearing, and then Michael McGillicuddy would come out with a backwards hat, and they just were a terrible tag team, and I think they ended up losing the titles to Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne. After that, he kind of just was a jobber, and he went on. I think NXT was still going on from there, so he went and wrestled there, and then he was just kind of faded away for a while. He was a real nobody for a long time. Like, it was kind of sad to see, because this guy comes from his father, Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, his grandfather, Larry the Axe Hennig. It's sad to see the guy who has so much potential is given no opportunity. And then, last night, he comes and becomes the new Paul Heyman guy. Now, I noticed when he came out that, and it said Curtis Axel. So I guess, according to ProWrestlingInsider.com, that, like, moments before he was going to go out, they tweaked his name a little bit. So, even though it did come up Curtis Axel on the Minitron, it's actually they changed it to Curtis Axel like minutes before he came out, so that's why it said Curtis Axel. If you were wondering why it said Curtis Axel, he came out with a lot of praise from the announcers. They were praising him and saying, "I can't wait." I like the fact that JBL is on the announce team, because he praises all of the guys that are actually good in the ring, unlike Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, who praise John Cena and Ryback and Randy Orton and Sheamus. They John Bradshaw Layfield calls it like it is. He actually calls most of the matches, and says what's going on in the matches, and he actually praises a lot of the guys like Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, The Shield, praises Daniel Bryan. He praises Curtis Axel. He praises the guys that are actually good technicians in the ring and can actually go. And they're saying how much potential this guy has, how much he's been talked about over the years, and how much potential he has. And he does have a lot of potential coming from being a third-generation superstar. It's an also known fact that he's actually a training partner with The Rock, and he trains with The Rock when The Rock has upcoming matches, and he helps him get ready for those matches. So then Triple H comes out because he had just come off a loss against Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules, which I don't know why, but that's another story for another video. Triple H comes out, and Curtis Axel grabs the microphone, and then Triple H kind of shoves him to the side, and he says, relax, like something like, relax, Junior, the adults are talking. And I thought, oh, God, he's going to get buried now. And I didn't want that to happen. I did not want Curtis Axel to be buried. I don't want Curtis Axel to be buried. So at that point, I was like, oh, God, this guy's going to get buried. He's probably going to go nowhere now just because of the one thing Triple H said. And then they're going back and forth a little bit, and then Curtis Axel grabs the microphone. He pretty much tells Triple H that if you want to get to Paul Heyman, if you want to kick his ass, then you have to go through me. And then they kind of schedule a match. Well, first, Triple H, slaps him in the face, kind of like, who are you? And then he challenges him to a match later on that night. Now, I didn't see the match because, I wasn't interested in Raw that much. But I did find out, thanks to the power of YouTube, that he did end up winning the match because Triple H was unable to continue the match. But nonetheless, he did win the match against Triple H. Now, Curtis Axel doesn't really have anything else to show for him except for when he was Michael McGillicuddy. He was a tag team champion. Other than that, he does not have any credentials other than being a third-generation superstar and being tag team champion. He doesn't have any other credentials. What does it mean for him being a Paul Heyman guy? Well, there's a lot of potential, because if you see the guys that Paul Heyman has built up, he built up Brock Lesnar, he built up all the guys in ECW, he built up CM Punk, he's built up a lot of guys. He even helped build the Big Show. Like, let's be honest, in 2002, when the Big Show came back under the allegiance and the leadership of Paul Heyman, ended up beating Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Paul Heyman builds superstars. He creates and rebuilds superstars. So I'm interested to see him where Curtis Axel is going to go. I'm guessing that further down the line, maybe he'll get an Intercontinental title run. I really don't see him being United States champion because Dean Ambrose is the United States champion, and I really don't think that they're going to move Dean Ambrose from being United States champion to being nothing. So I think that maybe he'll go for the Intercontinental Championship. That is, if Wade Barrett loses the title sometime soon to a babyface. I'm thinking The Miz, and maybe Curtis Axel will go for the Intercontinental title. If he does a good job with the Intercontinental title, and if he does carry the title well enough to the point where he can be the World Champion or the WWE Champion, I really think that they'll put him as the World Champion, because the World Championship is seen as a dying title right now. It's not relevant. I mean, the current champion is out with a concussion right now. That's how irrelevant it is. It wasn't defended at Extreme Rules, unfortunately, but still, even before that, it was irrelevant title. So hopefully, with Dolph Ziggler being champion right now, it'll bring back some, it'll be relevant again, and then maybe Curtis Axel can, eventually down the line become world champion. But until that happens, I really do see him going for the Intercontinental Championship a little bit further down the line. I think he still has a lot more to prove. Yes, he had a victory over Triple H, that's huge, but he still has a lot more to do, and I think they're going to build him up to be, he's an unstoppable force. He's third generation, he's a Paul Heyman guy, he's got a lot to do, he's got a lot to prove. So I'm interested, and I'm actually really interested to see where Curtis Axel is going to go. And yeah, so leave your comments down below. Where do you think Curtis Axel is going to end up, and what are your thoughts on Curtis Axel? Don't forget, so that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to me. Don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling Guru Society. There is a rebirth coming to Wrestling Guru Society, so you better stay tuned for that. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's pretty much it. Peace out.